Good afternoon and welcome to a special meeting of the Ulysses Town Board. To order at 4:02 on April 14th, 2025. We knew we needed to meet, but we weren't sure on what exactly we were going to meet at, the parameters of it, and we did receive advice from the town attorney just about half an hour ago, which I think is determining our course of action. So for the purposes of today's meeting, I would like to discuss authorizing me to execute a change order to the parking lot reconstruction contract. And I would also like to go into a brief advice of counsel, not advice counsel, sorry, not advice counsel, a brief executive session related to the proposed acquisition, sale, or lease of real property, or the proposed, and that's really not proposed acquisition of security. So it's the exemption H under the open meetings law, under the conduct of executive session. Is there anything else anybody else wants to discuss? Okay, I'm not going to take a motion on the agenda because so contract. So the town had a pre-construction meeting on Friday. The contractor per our contract is ready to go this week. They had told us they were given under the terms of the contract they had until like July to complete the work. But they're ready to go. There's already a piece of equipment out here. Property owners, the adjacent two property owners have been undertaking reconstruction of their parking lot, and they have been great to work with. The contractors that they hired are great to work with. They're actually working with our contractors to make sure that we get the asphalt together properly. So it functions for everybody. So that's wonderful. But at the last town board meeting, so basically I should say that because the contractors are within the window of reconstruction that we authorized in their contract, they are ready to go this week. They would like to start this week. And so because of that, we are running into a challenge with the rear property owner, Mr. Hoffman, who was at the last town board meeting on April 8th. At that meeting, my understanding, and please correct me if the board had a different interpretation of it, my understanding from Mr. Hoffman is that his attorney was going to contact our attorney. I had provided that contact information last two weeks ago. So whatever the Tuesday was before the 8th of April. The 1st, yes. On April 1st, I provided the contact information for our attorney. On April 8th was my understanding of that meeting. Mr. Hoffman's attorney was going to be in contact with the town's attorney. That contact did not happen. I asked the town attorney to reach out to the attorney that Mr. Hoffman mentioned with his attorney. They left voicemail, email on Friday morning. As of Thursday, as of today, Monday afternoon, there's been no communication back. And the town attorney is making a recommendation about how to handle this at this point. So he's recommending that we put up a barrier at the edge of our property line. The reason this is challenging is because the rear, for the public who's watching, there's an encroachment agreement in place from 2021. And it specifies that the town owns the asphalt, that asphalt for the parking lot was, when it was constructed, went on to private property that currently owned by Mr. Hoffman. So that is town property. But Mr. Grossman has posted no trespassing signs, and our contractors don't want to cross no trespassing. I'm sorry, not Mr. Grossman, Mr. Hoffman, I'm sorry. I had Mr. Grossman as the attorney, I'm sorry. Mr. Hoffman posted no trespassing signs, and our contractors don't want to be in a position of crossing those. And so at this juncture, the recommendation is to cut the asphalt off, and then the engineer for Barton LaJudas doesn't want, because of the age, quite honestly, of that asphalt, he is not recommending that we tie in directly to it. He's recommending also that we put up a barrier which would actually allow a separation, some gravel, so it would be So it would allow water, to go off of it, and then we have a clean edge, of the new asphalt. And the attorney, and I have spoken to the town, to the highway superintendent. We also, believe that this is the appropriate approach, to put up a very clear, structure that, let's say, runs the property line. My recommendation in this part is that, because this is federal ARPA funding, right? We need to spend it. We're under contract to spend it. Anything we don't spend has to be returned, and, the project's ready to go, so I don't want to violate the contract from our end and risk the funding. So, I'm asking the board today to, I'm going to ask the board voluntarily to authorize a, change order to the parking lot contract. So that we can amend, the orders that we're giving to the contractor for the work to be done. I've spoken to the contractor, I've spoken to the engineer as well, and this is a fully doable, project. Also, there's making sense in that. Not much extra money because it's very,
We're just gonna rid of this. Right? We're gonna do anything to this thing?
so the asphalt will all be taken to Scott, it's going to go to the highway garden. They're gonna use it for fill. So, the contractor isn't milling it because it's such a small amount, it's not really worth the effort to mill it. I mean, when I say overall, for them, it's a small project, for us, it's a big one, but for them, it's a small one. So basically, they're just taking, there's a heavy piece of equipment, there's an excavator out back, they're basically gonna break it up, scoop it up, dump it in a truck and take it, so the actual. Absolutely,
Let's go with it.
Sure.
Well, I don't wanna look at it.
Yeah. Okay, so we're not gonna take any action, but we are gonna go look at our back
I'm
parking lot.
sorry.
Town board on move.
I'm gonna pause this. Okay, we're recording again.
So these people can get to park on our property, we don't have any. That's fair, and we're gonna have 12-hour park.
Right.
So they can just park their cars on our property.
Right, I mean, we do have, for the public's sake, we just took, we walked out to look at the asphalt in question. Came back, we haven't taken any action. To your question, yes, it's a public parking lot. The town board has adopted, it can always change. The posted, information will go up, so it's 12-hour parking, maximum like the village. But we do have, parking designated for 2-hour parking between 8 and 5 for the general public, so that people can come in and get service, and then also staff parking between 8 and 5. But, someone can easily come at 5 o'clock and park for 12 hours, or 8 o'clock and park for 12 hours, or come here and park and go to dinner. So I'm just gonna throw out, and Chris, I will email you the, No, we have reached out to, who we indicated at the town meeting was his attorney. So, I just want sure I think it's really unfortunate because it would have been a lot better to have had more communication, and I thought at the last town board meeting, that's where we were leaving it, and we did start communication with all 3 adjacent property owners last September.
You said we're gonna cut a line, and then we're gonna pull up all the asphalt.
Cut a line and pull up all the asphalt on the town property, yeah. And then,
this thing.
Well, it's not,
can't go, we can't go.
well, our asphalt on his property stays, under what's being proposed. And then we'll just proceed with the rest of our contract as normal, so we're changing, the work order would change that, and it would also allow the contractors to install, a, guardrail. The link, which is the, what is that, the west link, Griffith? Essentially the west
Yeah.
link. Of the parking lot to delineate, the boundary of the town. I think in the future, the only good thing is that whatever town board redoes the parking lot, it's very, very clear now where our town parking is. So if any additional asphalt is left over, it shall not be put on anybody else's property. So I'm gonna share the resolution, so. Copy it. Okay, resolved that the Ulysses Town Board on the advice of Town Council authorizes the town supervisor to execute a change order to the parking lot reconstruction contract that allows for a change to the line, where the parking lot asphalt, I'm sorry, a change to the line, the parking lot asphalt cut line, that's not right. A change, sorry, I wrote it, I guess I was typo now, for a change, to the line where the parking lot asphalt is cut and the establishment of the barrier at the edge of the property. And be it further resolved that the town board authorizes the town supervisor to make additional changes as needed and recommended by Barton and Judas related to the parking lot reconstruction project as needed for time sensitive project related to the parking lot reconstruction. So there may be something small that shows up during the project that they're gonna need a quick decision on. So if you authorize me to make, and I would let you know, they could also add actually before notification. So there might be something that they find that they have to run the conduit line slightly different, right? They have to move the light slightly different than what the agreement is.
The asphalt that was put in is on our property. I think it didn't think so.
In the original proposal, we were gonna pull up all the asphalt, which is owned by the town. We own all the asphalt that has not been removed already. Back there is all our asphalt. But because Mr. Hoffman has posted no trespassing signs, our contractors are not comfortable crossing onto his land
Right,
to pull up our asphalt.
right.
And even though the town attorney agreed that we could go on to do that, his recommendation is that we cut the asphalt at our property line and put up a barrier and, that could be adjusted in the future. And then simply reconstruct only the asphalt part that is currently on town property. So that's the difference.
Do we need an actual physical barrier if, we have the, you know, the gravel separation between ours and,
So part of the problem remains that per the encroachment agreement, that property is identified as ours. The asphalt, so anybody like,
That's wrong.
it's in the encroachment agreement, and despite my best ability to get a negotiation on the encroachment agreement, we have not been able to engage.
But the fact is, it says in the encroachment agreement, it's our property, and it's not.
It is asphalt, the asphalt is our property.
The land it says,
Yeah.
so how is it written in the encroachment agreement?
That the land is his and the asphalt is ours, so we have the legal right to go on and grab it. But he's now posted no trespassing sign, so it becomes a lot more legally complicated. So we could go through the court process to go get ourselves access to our asphalt, but I'm
Do we
suggesting,
really care? I mean, it seems like a big deal for not much return. And we have to do our asphalt. It seems silly.
right, and I'm suggesting that we don't,
we leave
Right.
it there.
We leave it there.
right? And then, but by prohibiting access to it until at such point, hopefully, that we can find another, way to negotiate.
Well, that kind of makes sense, because we don't want our people that are coming here, before they get into trouble
Right,
by trespassing onto
I
his property.
agree,
And we also don't want the public parking on non-public parking spaces.
Yeah,
And so there's a lot of benefit to actually having a clear delineation. My hope is that we can, and my hope has been that we could negotiate something, but I think there's still room for negotiation. This isn't prohibiting future.
what's the value of the look like?
It's going to, they have, basically it's pressure treated lumber. They're using it, they're doing the same, it's the same, it would be the same as what they're using at Gigantic. For guardrail. So it's good, it's state park quality.
Oh, it's a big look,
It's not metal, it's wood.
back the lot, entirely.
I mean, Mary said it's protection for us and for the
That's
public too.
True.
Now that the postal signs are up,
yeah,
they're not gonna know where the
Yeah.
difference is, and
Mm,
during events or whatever, when that parking lot gets full, people park back here all the time.
Yeah. yeah.
So it's kind of a protection for them. I don't think I like the idea of wood. At first I was like, oh my gosh, these are be like huge, like metal barriers, concrete barriers, like the highway barriers. I had a feeling like, oh, I don't know, but.
No, it's wood.
wood, and
And I also think that if we could come to some resolution in the future, that actually could be cut, right? And adjusted without a huge, I don't think without a huge problem. And so if a right of way was created so that everybody could get, what they need, that would be ideal. We did actually have a conversation back in September. It was great to meet actually at that meeting back when we had a lot of property coming from in September last year, did raise the question about suggesting about negotiating. Because that's a really clear protected way for everybody to make sure that they can protect their property and for whatever reason. I think we have to say, but I'll see this. I'm going to see the process. It's been a bit difficult in some ways, but it's also been really great to work with the two adjacent property owners who got a contractor, who's been, it's been really great to find someone working, who works well and they work positively. And that was a lovely, much better property.
so we will move forward. We'll get the new parking lot. We have new lights and everything for security reasons.
The ability.
Here's the area over there that's new as well, for the adjacent landowners.
Yeah.
And then there might be a temporary back blockage towards the back property, but not anything that could be, it doesn't have to be permanent, so it's availability for negotiating.
Yes.
With that landowner, but not on the contractor's costing.
Right. Right. So there will be some minor, and it is pretty minor just because there's not a huge amount. So we're not gonna have a lot of cost savings, but we shouldn't have a lot of cost expense either. They actually have already have the materials to put up the boundary.
We put up the trespass.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really aggressive.
yeah,
And it was after the town board meeting.
Right.
oh,
So, yep, no, I directed Nate to reach out to negotiate,
Yeah,
try and find a
well,
settlement if the
You
board.
get crickets, you can't do anything.
Yep, and I told him, I think the board is amenable to coming to a solution, so and so he had a list of options and, that he was gonna,
Kind of weird question never gets back to.
I don't know, so, but we unfortunately are where we are, I don't feel comfortable with in the federal fund. Like
Yeah,
trying to
no.
delay, so.
I'm just trying to think through,
So this does still preserve the ability to, come to, a settlement in the future that allows access to everybody, and I hope we can do that. If we do go to, I did learn that if we do go to a right of way agreement, to allow driving access, which I think makes reasonable sense to that parking area, we would have to essentially sell it, and it would be subject to commercial development. So, but to the values for public, that we'd be essentially, we can't gift a right of way. we would have to go through a process of. So, I mean, I don't know what that process,
Be like an easement session, like,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
which is not very valuable, but.
So according to, there is encroachment, I'm sorry, it is subject to permissive referendum, which in those cases, that's because the states typically is saying there's a monetary value to what you're undertaking. So, but there will be legal costs associated with doing that also, so. um, there you go. But,
You try, probably getting separate things, and then hold them on. And be done. Yeah.
So I'll move this resolution. I would add, Chris, can I add on a part on the end about, the supervisor will provide notification to the board for any work changes. I really don't actually think there are gonna be any more work changes. It's just such a short-term project and we won't really, maybe we do a meeting next week. So maybe they could be rolled into that. I'll do that. I really don't think we're gonna have any, short of finding archaeological evidence underneath it, which I do not anticipate because this has been a parking lot a long time. I don't really think we're gonna run into anything, so we'll constitute more work orders. Changes, but. So I'll move that. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and then I had one item, for executive session, it's very quick. Related, and so we'll have to, I need a motion to go into executive session. Is there, second, thank you, all those in favor? Aye. Okay, Chris, would you mind?
Move to adjourn.
Oh, we have to actually come out of open session, we need to come back in open session, motion to return to open session. Thank you, all those in favor?
Aye.
We took no action.
Move to adjourn.
Second. Lucky second. Thank you. Mary, I know you stayed late for